But
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sitting at the bottom of the predictions.
actually, I think you're doing pretty well, Carrick. I think you're near the top.
Oh, I'm sitting right in the middle. You are quite far down there, though.
Oh well, you got to back yourself sometimes in these tournaments, even against all the odds.
All right, and these guys have kicked off their race. They're going to be getting synced up, so we'll have that sorted out shortly. During this level, there's not much to talk about, though. There shouldn't be too many issues.
Yeah, probably the only thing of note, unless they make any silly mistakes, is trying to get the 361 for a little bit of extra swag at the end.
That's the true test right here. I've seen a lot of people not even go for it, which is surprising.
Yeah, because the way you get the 361 is you jump at the top of those yellow blocks and you release right and hope to lock in a good speed, 49 speed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll just have enough to make the frame. But apparently, it doesn't actually save time because you lose the time back immediately to lag unless you get shell jump. So
Yes.
that's the thing why people don't bother go for it. But you win swag points, which is obviously much more important.
Yeah, that is something that's always important to put out, that there is a 361 on that first level, but it does not actually save you time. It's just swag. So this is a great level here. These guys are going to be looking for a 259 on the timer. To get that, they need to utilize those wooden platforms, riding them as long as they can. It's going to give Mario that little extra juice he needs to get it, lest they get a 258. These guys are both pros. They know what they're doing, snagging a 259 across the board.
Yeah, it can be a tricky level, especially if you're a little bit nervous or your timing is just a little bit off. You can easily take a death in that level, but both of them got through it fine.
Yeah, it's a hilarious level for races because deaths can happen in this first world. It's not uncommon. All right, Stu not getting that shell jump he went for. I heard Ben stomp the shell, which is smart if you don't go for it. Ben would kill me if I didn't say during his race, you should stomp the shell if you don't go for the shell jump. It's going to mitigate your lag frames. He's a big proponent of that strat.
Ben always says that, but I always ignore him. I always just jump straight over the shell. Mostly because I like to tilt him. So Iggy's Castle is one of the first somewhat tricky levels. Grabbing these nets in a timely manner can be a little bit tricky. I think Stu had a bit of a slow first room here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he still gets the 281 door, actually. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah,
Stu got the 281 door, and Ben only got a 280.
Ben got a little hung up on one of the cages.
Certain
yeah,
co-commenter
you can have certain slowdowns and still make that 281 door. So they're going to be grabbing that flower, get that quick kill on Iggy. You're going to see these quick kills used a lot in the bosses. Good job on both of them. 241 from Stu and a 240 Iggy from Ben. They're going to be moving on to the Donut Plains.
Yeah, no real problems in World 1, and it's still pretty neck and neck. But I think World 2 starts to get a little bit trickier. You've got flight speeds to deal with, and you've got a very tricky Castle 2 coming up. So we might see them split apart a little bit in the next world.
World 2 is usually where we start to see the runs diverge from one another. Seems Ben is slightly ahead of Stu. This could change in the next level, though, even though it would be only due to flight speed, really. Good cape grab on both runners' parts, and they're going to stay up in the air. When Mario is flying through the air like this, his speed oscillates from values 47 to 51. And when he starts flying, he's going to lock into one of those speeds. These runners can manipulate that speed by tapping right while they fly, but there's no guarantee they're going to end up at a faster speed. So these runners really have to manage their flight well. Stu getting a 362 on the in-game timer, which means he really utilized his cape great. Ben right behind him with the 361.
Yeah, even if you get the fastest flight speed, you still have to get your cape pumping correct and drop down on the key efficiently to get the 362. So that was quite well done.
All right, in this dry room, they need to spin fly up, grab that Koopa shell, get back through the pipe as quick as they can. Ben going a little high in that dry rim, getting the multicolored pipe. Now you can lose the shell when you spin on fish. There's a small chance that you could lose that shell, so these runners switch out for a P-switch where there's no cause for concern.
Yeah, again we see Stu getting a 252 and Ben just a little bit behind with a 251. So small little differences is going to increase Stu's lead by a couple of more frames, but it's still a long way to go.
Stu's been picking up about 1 in-game second per level. All this could change come Morton's Castle, though. That's where we really see stuff start to go off the rails. Alright, great ghost house from both of them. Of course, I mean, that level really shouldn't give either of them any concern. Next, they've got a couple of flyovers to get through before they make their way into Morton's Castle. This next level does have kind of a tricky P-speed strat, though, to get this P-speed off the beginning. Both of them getting it quite well.
Yeah, so we see Stu fly under the clouds, and we saw Ben go over the clouds. Over the clouds is a little bit easier, but Stu does lock in his flight speed a little bit quicker, so in theory it can be a little faster to do that. But any route through the levels, it's fine.
So see, that's wild. That's where you see those strat differences differ in runners, because I find under the clouds easier, and over the clouds, you know, you risk hitting either the block or the clouds. I never even considered that other people think of over the clouds as easier.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I go up to a certain height and I have a visual cue, like one of the background items, to tell me where the gap is, and then I find that gap. And I always found that under the cloud is just a little bit tighter. But yeah, that's the tiny little differences in the way people approach levels.
Yeah, we'll see a few of those here during this run. I'm not positive on what either runners do for Ludwig Room 2, but that's a big one where we'll see differences.
Ben does the fire strat in Room 2. I'm not sure about Stu. I think Stu might do the fire strat as well, but I guess we'll find out when we get there.
2 fire strats. It's like having 2 lefties on stream.
I know.
It's always cool to see it.
So this is the first really tricky level in this race. So we're going to see them fly up, hopefully the whole way up through this level. And if they don't miss any of their flights, they are going to avoid missing a cycle, which can cost, like, is it 12 or 13 seconds?
Yep, 12 to 13.
Seeing grab. Yeah, you also see Stu grab the spring, but Ben didn't attempt the spring grab, which is interesting. So he's actually going to miss half a cycle here at the top. I think it's a strategy I've seen him do just to be on the safe side to make sure he gets up. But he is losing a little bit of time to Stu because of this.
Yeah, it's super difficult to keep your flight. We've seen lots of runners lose their flight at the spring, so I understand Ben going for a more race-friendly strat. You know, it's only gonna lose him about 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but in the long run of what it could potentially lose him, 12 to 13 seconds. It's a good trade-off, I suppose, especially in a race. Stu's gonna maintain his slight lead over Ben as they go into Vanilla Dome.
Yeah,
this is another level where we're going to see them like utilize their cape like crazy. So, like you were saying, these slight levels, like especially this one coming up, if Ben doesn't get this flight, he might lose his lead more. If Stu doesn't get his flight here in the next level, he will lose his lead.
So yeah, you see them do a little flight there and cape pound the ground to stun a shell, and then they use that to kill the other shells on the bottom path, because it's not safe at all to run into them at full speed with your cape and to do spins. You can get frame rolled. Both runners having no problems with this level. They got up to the keys without any hassle.
We've seen a lot of people miss that flight. Getting up to that key just uses all the vertical height you have. It can be a little scary.
This is another level where there's a difficult strat and then there's a kind of a safe-ish strat, and both of the runners are doing the safe strat where they don't attempt to pick up the red Koopa shell, because if you pick up the red Koopa shell at the very bottom, you can get through the flying Koopas, you know, the 7 flying Koopas, a little faster, but it does risk losing your cape, which can cost a lot more time. So both of them doing the slightly safer strat, which loses maybe about half a second.
Yeah. These guys are staying just about neck and neck going above Vanilla Dome. They've got 2 more flyover levels before they reach the fortress. This is a great time to go and follow these runners. Doesn't look like our commands are working right now for the bot. But Stu's name is the same as Stu, and Ben is Ben SMW on Twitch. Go give both of those guys a follow. They'll still be flying through these levels when you come back.
Yeah, we did see Stu have a little bit of trouble getting flight speed at the very start. So he's lost a little bit of time. Ben's going to catch up a bit on this level. A couple of seconds back.
Oh, wow. A 5 in-game second gain for Ben. Those are the little things he needs to get his lead back from Stu.
So I see in chat they're saying that I'm the one with the accent, but does that
That's
mean that you don't
hilarious
have
to
an
say.
accent? Does that mean that you have the neutral voice and I'm just the one with the accent? I take
I'm
exception to that.
absolutely devoid of any accent, all right? That's a funny way of phrasing it. The one with the accent.
I'm the one with the shady accent. Well, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
All right, Stu is the first making it into the fortress there. This is an awesome fortress. He's going to want to play close to these ball and chains and the fish. And potentially we get to see a cool trick. Here at the end of this room is a pipe that Stu and Ben are going to go down. When they come out, they're going to spin their cape at a precise moment. And there's a thwomp off screen to the right that they're hoping to despawn with that cape spin. It's a very small time save, but it looks super cool. So it's always great to see. Stu's going to be going for it now. Watch his cape spin. And the thwomp is gone. Right in that little nook and cranny up there, there should be a thwomp. Ben going for the despawn right now. And the thwomp is there.
So Stu's going to gain a little bit of time and a lot of swag because of that.
Yep. A little bit of time, a lot of swag. That's what these races are for, right? Alright, both of them coming out of Resi clean. You know what I'm hyped for, Shady?
Are you hyped for possibly the greatest level in all of speedrun entertainment?
The greatest level in all of speedrun entertainment. Get your PogChamps out for Butter Bridge 1. Heart-pounding action. Check this out. This level moves all on its own. Technology these days.
You don't get any respite. The screen just keeps scrolling and scrolling. It's like the most high pressure level.
It's like magic.
And the platforms fall down when you're standing on them. It's like it's the scariest level. Your hands are getting sweaty, and you're like, "Oh, I wish I could take a little break here, just take a breather." But you can't. You got to keep going.
I get nervous just thinking about it. Is the screen gonna go to the right or more to the right? You don't know.
Oh, and there's that moment in the level when the screen suddenly goes a little bit faster just to catch you out. It goes from 1 mile an hour to 2 mile an hour, and you just panic.
Oof. Both of them at least are playing it a little safe, staying on the ground. We've seen some people try to just fly through this level slowly and casually, and it hasn't worked out for a lot of people. So it's good to see them playing it safe.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my hand up and say I had flown through this level, and then I died, and then I've never flown through this level since then.
This level's just too extreme.
We are seeing Stu maintain his flight from the yellow block, so he is going to go for pipe fly, which is a cool strategy you can do to save a little bit of time in this level. The only thing you can do to save time.
Yeah, now watch. Stu needs to keep his flight really in nice. There. And that's going to give him just the tiniest amount of save. But it's some cool swag to pull off during that level for sure.
So we've just the one more flyover level here, Butterbridge 2, before we get onto the really exciting part of the run, where things start going wrong.
Yep, they get a little breather with this flyover level before they hit Ludwig's castle. And that's where we're going to see some really cool cape tech and maybe some differences in their strategies in Room 2. But there's a lot of heartbreak in that castle, I'll tell you that.
I hope we see different strategies, because it'd be interesting to compare them.
I love seeing them back to back, especially with these guys being as close as they are.
Here
So this
we go.
castle they're coming up on is where we could see potential strat differences. The room ones should be the same. You see Stu going for his attempt. He's going to utilize his cape greatly here, doing some pounds to get rid of enemies in front of him, and cape canceling through the ball and chains, not taking any damage. Ooh!
That was a little scary. Yeah, he didn't quite. He hit one of the ledges. He bonked a little bit, and he had to play it safe and slide under the ball and chain.
Yeah, now look at these strat differences.
Yeah. He also got very close to the ground. He almost landed when he was flying through the level as well. But he didn't, so he was perfectly fine. And we saw Ben switch to the flower and get those jumps without too much trouble. Ben's had a pretty good castle. I think he might actually gain a little bit of time on Stu in this castle.
Yep, those little hiccups that Stu had is what Ben was needing. And they just need 2 fireballs and a jump, get rid of Ludwig, and they're going to be getting out of there, moving on to Forest of Illusion. This is where the run really picks up. So we're going to see a lot of tricks and stunts from these runners. I wonder if we're going to see any Forest of Illusion 1 wings attempts from these runners.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know Ben has in the past. I would imagine he won't if he's not doing things like the spring grab and Morton, but you never know. And I actually don't know about Shu. I can't remember if he's done it before.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they go for it in the race format, like especially as close as they are. Do you risk it for the biscuit? Alright, so Stu is in Forest of Illusion 1. He needs a Yoshi before he continues on. And what we're looking for is a little glitch in here called Yoshi Wings. We'll know here in a second if Stu is setting up for an attempt.
Yeah, he looks like he's going for it. He's grabbed the green shell.
Alright, now definitely pay attention to Stu's screen going under.
Oh no, Stu!
Oh no,
Oh my god.
And now we see what risking it for the biscuit can do. He failed his wings attempt. He is in a very bad spot right now.
Yeah. So Stu was at the key ground, and I think he didn't like his jumps and his positioning. He didn't think he was going to make the next one, so he bailed out. But then he's stuck down there, and he has to get out. So he was going to ditch Yoshi, but he was really unlucky to lose his cape too. He's pretty much going to...
I wonder if he might have he could have just died and re-grabbed a cape and Yoshi right then and there.
Yeah. Well, you can grab the cape from the halfway, but you have to go back into the level anyway.
Yeah.
Because Yoshi's right at the start. So I was thinking that too, but I'm not sure which would have been faster.
It's hard to say.
And he does keep his flower this way as well.
Ben got a great Yoshi clip there. I was too busy discussing Stu right there to point it out. But getting that Yoshi clip right there is a huge thing for Ben right there. It's going to solidify that lead. Stu's going to be going in for Yoshi clip where I can explain it a little closer now. So this clip is highly dependent on Yoshi's sub-pixel. It's insanely precise. Stu needs to dismount near the ceiling. That's going to set him up to perfectly clip into the wall where there's still a 25% chance of him getting kicked out, which he did. So even if he did everything right, which he did, he can still be kicked out. So that fast Yoshi clip on Ben's side is really going to do good for him here.
Yeah, this will be really frustrating. That was so close to a successful lefty clip as well. And now he's struggling a bit. I don't know if he's still got the right sub-pixel. Okay, he's finally in there though, so he can carry on with the run. That is a lot of time gone though.
That was scary. A good job on Stu getting in. Sometimes that Yoshi just doesn't like to play nice. Ben's going to be going into Roy's castle. He is more than a full level ahead of Stu now. I'm telling you, this Forest of Illusion is where things really picked up, and it did. And we get to see even more cool strats from Ben here, pulling off what we call Roy Fly. He's going to stick to the ceiling as close as he can for a while, then dive bomb right before the Potoboos hit him, dive right back up before the final one.
Playing a little bit safe, actually, halfway through the castle. He didn't have quite the right way to keep going with full P speed to slide down the stairs, but he's safely through, and that's all he's care about at the stage.
Yep, safely grabbed his flower too. He knows he has the lead and he's going to play it safe from here. Smart decision.
Yeah, so we see Stu just finishing Forest 3 now, and he's going to go on to his own Roy Fly very soon. He's about a full Roy's Castle behind. I think this is about like a minute and a half, maybe, the gap. The Forest was really unforgiving for Stu. He was tiny little mistakes, and he's massively punished.
Yeah,
the Yoshi clip wasn't even his fault, actually. That was just purely unlucky for
he
that
should
first
have
clip.
gotten in that first clip. But I mean, there's still an insane amount of race to be had. We've seen people come back from worse.
Yeah, the second half of the run is a lot more difficult than a lot of the flyovers we've seen in the first half.
Absolutely. It was no surprise when they stayed neck and neck for as long as they did. But like I said, once it came to Forced Evolution, the whole rest of the run is where things can change.
Stu having a perfect room 1 in Roy's Castle, getting a 270 door, so he's just back on it, which is really good to see. It can be easy to tilt and make more mistakes after what happened to him, but he's back in the game, and he's just got to try and make it as hard as possible for Ben.
Yep. Ben playing it safe, grabbing that spring for a backup cape.
We also saw Ben decide against doing the pipe fly in that level, which can save 1 second if you get it right. But I'm pretty sure we will see Stu do the pipe fly, so we'll get to see it in his screen.
Yeah, Ben is pulling off really smart race decisions right now. He knows he's in the lead. He wants to keep that lead.
It's these kind of decisions is why he does so well in races, why he's so consistent. Not afraid to take a slightly slower but safer strategy, especially now that he sees he's in the lead. If Ben doesn't have any big mistakes between now and the end, he's going to win the race. So Stu needs to hope, I think, for some of the harder levels to trip Ben up.
Ben having a great ghost house, getting that flight at the end, showing off some cool door fly swag. Alright, Ben's going to be moving in to Chocolate Island 2 as Stu goes into the ghost house that Ben just left. This is going to be easy for Ben, really. You just make it to the end of the level as quickly as possible. Shouldn't be too many issues. The ghost house Stu is in. We've seen a lot of issues from other runners. I know Stu is pretty comfortable with this. But that doesn't change the fact that this ghost house can cause issues.
Yeah,
There's obstacles up in the ceiling, you know, and he has to stay under the obstacles while staying above the fishing boo.
Yeah, it looks like an easy flyover, but it's actually really not because of that obstacle you mentioned. So you have to stay just above that fishing boo. The fishing boo, he just weaves up and down, and he's wrecked many runs in the past.
All right, Ben has made his way to Chocolate Secret. He's not taking that shell with him. He's relying on those chucks to play friendly. Fortunately, they did. They're going to allow him through room 1. Ben losing his slight speed in that room 2. It's not the biggest loss, to be completely honest.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stu losing flight speed in room 2 of Chocolate Island 2 is a little bit worse. He's lost a bit more time, which is unfortunate because he had a even slightly better than room 1 than Ben did with his 291 pipe. Yeah, he's struggling a little bit. He needs to keep it together. Yeah, he's only lost another few seconds, but he needs to have a strong finish.
Alright, Ben's going to be going into my personal favorite castle, especially to show off cool cape tech. He's going to be moving into Wendy's castle now.
Yeah,
And
you and me both. It's my favorite level as well. It's a really fun level to do.
it looks super cool if you can pull it off. So you'll see him pull off some cool cape spins here, cape canceling through the grinder saws, taking no damage, going under a crusher, once again taking
That was
no
close.
damage. He just
Yeah, his
needs to make
tap
it
left was
past.
a little bit early there. Actually, he almost
It was.
got crushed. I
He
was
hit
I
that
was a little bit
really
scared.
high. This room 2 is just silky smooth if you can pull it off right. It's really fun to watch. Oh, he's scaring me a little bit. He's going to have to take it a little slow the rest of the way.
Yeah, a little bit spooky, but minimal harm done. He was okay.
Yep. So he just needs to leave the Swindy fight with some sort of power up. Should be fine for him. He has a backup cape as well. And he is out.
Yeah, overall a solid castle from Ben, and maintains his lead. We need Stu's entering the castle now, so we're going to see if he can maybe gain a second or two on Ben on this castle.
Yep, and they'll soon be heading into Valley of Bowser, where the standings can definitely change. Ben does have a very strong lead on Stu right now, but there's still a lot of Mario to be had.
Oh, Stu also having trouble in room 2 and Wendy. Yeah, that was really weird. I think something about his timing of his jump was a little off, and he just didn't get P speed. But he just carried on regardless, and he's lost minimal time.
Yeah, he still had a pretty clean room too, all said and done.
So we're into the sunken ghost ship now. Ben already has 2 capes. You're going to see Stu pick up a backup cape in that question block in room 1. And then in this room, the idea is that they're going to get to a certain point in the level with the boo clouds that you can see here still active. And if he times it just right, he will make one or both of the boo rings at the end of the level despawn. He's very close to needing a scroll here to get it, actually. But maybe
Yeah.
he has decided to scroll, so he'll despawn the first, the second will be there, and he'll just damage boost through it. So good job from Ben there. Oh, he's going to keep both of his capes. Interesting decision.
Very interesting. Peculiar, one might say.
Because, yeah,
I'm
I
having
don't know.
a hard time justifying that decision.
He is going to get. He has the option of getting a spare cape at the end of the next level, which isn't exactly a free level, but
That's true. It is Monty Moles.
Monty Moles can't steal your cape, and that can cause trouble. So, maybe with the race situation, it's probably just a really sensible decision.
And then grabbing the orb.
Ben gets a shiny green question mark.
Whoa. None of that accurate descriptions here.
End of level, sunken ghost ship. Orb. Shu also gets his despawn of the first boo ring, and he is going to damage boost it. He needs to save every second he can, so he's going for all of the RTA strats here.
Yep, and we see Ben making his way through Valley of Bowser. This is what he wanted that backup cape for. These Monty Moles sometimes aren't too nice with the cape hitbox. He's taking another block. He wants a third cape. Nope, turned into a coin at the very end. He's just trolling me.
I think Ben tried to spin as he went through and get the mushroom and make the make the one-up mushroom spin away, like we saw happen recently to Silver, on one of his runs. That was quite funny. I think Ben attempted that. Not sure.
And Stu grabbed his orb.
That's my shady accent orb there.
Oh, all right. Ben not getting the sandbar. Not sure if he even went for it. looked like he was doing a setup for it, but I don't know whether or not he even attempted it. Probably would have been smart to just not even go for it. He's got a healthy lead.
I would be amazed if Ben actually attempted sandbar there. From everything
Yeah.
else we've seen and from the way Ben plays, especially in race situations, I would be amazed if he attempted it.
Yep, same. He plays it low and slow during this race, and it's gonna potentially give him that victory.
For those who don't know, the sandbar clip is a way to clip inside that yellow block so that you can skip one of the cycles in this room, and it saves you about 12 or 13 seconds. But it's very risky. It's a 2-frame trick, and if you don't get the trick, you either sometimes slide to safety or you just instantly die. So it's very risky.
Super high risk.
No surprise at all.
We would probably only see it if someone really wants it to catch a lead, or if there was a tie. You see it on lots of PB attempts, but during races, it's totally understandable to not go for it.
Well, we see Stu pulling it off. That was very impressive.
Gorgeous sandbar clip from Stu right there.
Ben is not even going to attempt the fly through the Valley Fort. He sees his lead and he's just going to play it perfectly safe. He's going to walk through the fort.
This is very smart from Ben. I say this every time we hit the level, and I will continue to say it every time we hit this level. This level kills the most runners, takes the most capes. It's the worst level of this run, just statistically. And so Stu got that nice sandbar clip. He's hoping that Ben gets crushed by one of these crushers, setting him back. Ben sees that. He's saying, nah, I'm playing it low and slow. All right. Good res kill from Ben. He's got Mario looking up into the future. He'll be moving on to the Bowser fight. Stu showing off the cool cape tech. He's going to want to fly through this level. He didn't maintain his P speed, so unfortunately he's going to have to play it safe as well.
Oh, he takes a hit as well.
Scary hit. Nice use of the iframes to get out of that situation, though. He is in a very scary situation. Ben is in the Bowser fight. He's looking for this victory. And once again, this is a best of 3. This is race 1. So we will be going to a second race after this, most definitely.
Yeah, Ben with a very strong, very solid showing. Having no problems with the cape kill here in the Bowser. The basic idea of the cape kill is that you want to fly up and hit the Koopas as soon as they emerge from the clown cart, and you can save a couple of seconds over just doing a normal kill. But you also see Ben keeping this Mecha Koopa. What he's going to do is he's going to wait for the second blue bowling ball to be about to appear. Bowser's going to enter the animation, and then he's going to hit Bowser immediately at that point, and that will interrupt his animation and skip that cycle completely.
Yep, it's awesome. It saves an absurd amount of time in this Bowser fight. It's called ball skip. So as you see right there, he's not going to drop a second bowling ball now. He's going to go straight back to throwing 2 Mecha Koopas while Ben gets another cape kill. Moving on into the third and final phase. He's got another Mecha Koopa. I wonder what he's going to do with that.
Stu is going to show us the no cape fight. Unfortunately, he used one of his Mecha Koopas and he hit the side of the cart, didn't quite hit Bowser, so that's going to cost him a bit of time. He's not going to be able to get ball skip now, and you're going to see how much more time he spends.
Ben is going in for a 6th and final hit. Get your GGs out for Ben. He will be winning this first race with that nice 33-56. Big GGs out to him. Stu in the Bowser fight right behind Ben.
Yeah, sub 34 in a race is an excellent time. Really solid from Ben.
Yeah, it just goes to show how good he is in a race format. Stu's going to be going into his third and final phase of the Bowser fight. Ben once again going to take this lead. They'll be going into their second race for this best of 3. Stu needs to win 2 in a row after this to continue on.
Yeah, credits warp is not within the rules for this category. The no star world implies that they're doing otherwise no major glitches run of the game. So you're not going to see any cloud or warp or credit warp glitch or arbitrary code execution. We're just going to see a normal Mario game, but with no star world for this particular category.
Stu having a super scary phase 3. He will be getting that final hit though, so get your GGs out for Stu. In a fantastic race. That Forest of Illusion, that Yoshi clip really treated him poorly. He's going to be looking for 2 wins to get this best of 3. Big GGs out to both runners.
Yeah, it was still a solid time from Stu, but not the time he's looking for, and he's capable of much better, so he will be hoping to come back strong in the second race and force a third race on us, which would be fantastic.
Yeah,
so we've got at least one more race in this coming up.
I would not be surprised whatsoever if this went to 3. And once again, this is a round 3 match. They will be going on to round 4, and the winner of this will be going on to face the winner of our next race coming up, Retro Bob versus Louie. You're going to want to make sure to stay tuned for that. All right, we saw some good runs from both of these runners. They're definitely going to be looking for similar runs next time. Stu, of course, unfortunately had that Forest of Illusion issue with the Yoshi clip. If it weren't for that, he would have had a pretty great run.
Yeah, I think we did see a little bit of tilt from him after that as well.
Yes.
A couple of little mistakes, and it's totally understandable because that was not his fault.
I would
Even
be
when you click,
so tilted if that had happened to me.
We've all been there. We've been in races and we've been on good runs where that's happened, and it's just so hard to keep it together. And even if he did have a great run from there on, Ben didn't make any major mistakes. He just played it a little bit safe in places. So I'm not sure the race could have been won from that point anyway. So yeah, I definitely feel for Stu. But he's this is the best of 3, so he's going to have another chance now. And it's going to be coming up very soon, I think. I think they're just getting ready in the race channel.
Yep, we should be getting started any minute. Ben, of course, looking for that second win. That will give him the round victory. Stu needs to win 2 in a row. And that's not unheard of for a racer like Stu. I mean, all these races that we have left in this tournament are just top-tier runners. So it's all these races are going to be super insane.
Yeah, we could easily see like a sub 34 time winning every race from the rest of this tournament. Everyone's got that kind of pace in them.
Now, I always find race 2 to be the most interesting one because I want to see what strats change. Ben played it pretty safe last race, and I assume we're going to see the same from him, especially if he's getting sub 34 times. Stu had that issue with Yoshi Wings in Forest of Illusion 1, if you recall. So I want to see if he goes for it again as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. If there was more time between it, he might have had the practice card out, but we're going straight into this next race, so he hasn't had a time to practice it. I think we'll see Stu do all of the same strats again, because I don't know how it is like for you, Carrick, but for me, my second race is often my better race because I get the nerves out of the way in the first race. It's a bit of a warm-up. And then the second race is always a better, tidier run. I think Stu is going to back himself and just go for all of his strats that he normally does anyway. I think that's what he should do as well. If I was the coach in this corner, I think I'd say, go for it. Go for what you normally do. The second race will be better.
Yep,
But
he's got to swing
yeah.
for the fences. But yeah, race nerves definitely play a big part into this. These are two very experienced runners, so it's probably a lot easier for them. But it's definitely still a thing, especially knowing that it's a single elimination tourney. There's not going to be a loser's bracket. There's no redemption. You gotta win.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter how good you are at the game or how many years you've been playing the game. You're always going to feel nerves in these kind of situations, which is good. Which is what makes tournaments fun.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all
what
used to
makes it
PB
great.
attempts, but tournaments we like them because they make us nervous and
We get to see these runners
kind of
think on their
tricky.
toes, which is good. Most of the times when you see PB grinds or things like that, would normally just be resets under certain conditions. But when you have to go for it, that's when you really see, like, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, not that I ever want anyone to like get unlucky at forest clip or anything, but I do enjoy the fact that about races and tournaments that you see races go wrong and runs go badly, and then they have to keep going and scramble to try and do the best they can anyway. I find
Mhm.
it's quite interesting. So I love watching these races. Commenting them is so much fun. Being in them is so much fun because you just got to keep going. You just got to finish it out and do the best you can, even if you make little mistakes.
All right, and it looks like these guys will be getting started very shortly. This is race 2, best of 3 single elimination. Ben versus Stu. Once again, this is a No Star World winter tournament right here on twitch.tv/speedgaming. Ben was our winner of race 1. Stu looking for 2 wins to bring home that best of 3. So everyone, get your good lucks out for these runners. The winner of this will be going on to face the winner of our next race that will be coming up shortly, Retro Bob versus Louie. Make sure to stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be another amazing race. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one as well.
Yeah, pretty much every race that's coming up through the pipe is absolutely insane. These matchups are really great.
So we saw both of these guys keep it very close through the first two worlds in the first race. And in theory, they've got some of the nerves out of the system, but maybe there's different types of nerves. Maybe there's being a race up or being a race down brings some extra nerves. So we'll see how it goes. None of them attempted the 361 this time.
Wow, yeah, they're in a different mindset now.
There's no. You were talking about how they would play it differently. There's no swag here. This is all business now.
Yep. Now we saw Ben not go for the shell jump in Yoshi's Island 4, while Stu did go for it, not get it. So that'll be another one that I'm gonna be looking forward to. Does Stu go for the shell jump once again?
Oh, Ben is claiming he did go for the 361. Maybe I missed it. I thought he also skipped it.
That's strange. I didn't see it on my screen. It looked like he didn't get up there at all.
Yeah, to answer your question in chat, minor glitches are allowed. Things like duplicating blocks to get wings, things like clipping into slopes and yellow sandbars and things like that are allowed. But major glitches are not allowed. You won't see any clouds or orb. Not that they would probably save much time in a run like this anyway. You definitely won't see any credit warps.
Hey, but that's no Star World, right? All right, Stu getting that sexy 276 coming out of that level. He knew what to do with that shell. Ben's right behind him with that 275.
Yeah, that'll be a good confidence boost for Stu.
Wow, they are so synced up right now.
They're synced with their 280 doors this time, so they both had a safe room one in Iggy, rather than trying to be too risky. If you go too fast, you can easily miss a net grab, or you can fall in the lava, or you can jump into the fireball, so it pays it to be safe sometimes.
I love the dueling Marios. Getting right up in each other's faces on the screen. Great Iggy kills. Oh my god.
This is why it's always important to know which side of the restream you're on, so you can get your Mario to face your opponent, stare him down. They like maybe not in Lem and Lemmy, is it? Yeah. But Iggy, maybe not in Iggy, but on other bosses, they can get right to the edge of the screen and stare each other down.
All right, we have a synced ending pretty much for Ben versus Stu. They're going to be going into Donut Plains to find themselves a cape. We had a 362 last time coming out of this next level from Stu and a 361 from Ben. They both had clean cape grabs and key gets, so it was due to flight speed. It'll be interesting to see which direction it goes this time. Oh, looks like Ben missed a little cape pump there, giving me a minor heart attack. But he's back up in the air.
I think Stu is the fastest flight speed again. He's going to get a 362. Yeah, he does. And Ben is just a little bit behind this time, getting a 360.
Yeah, Stu is really good at managing that cape flight speed. In almost every level we've seen do flyovers, he manages to pull it off quite well.
There's a brown block like halfway through that level, and I always use it to kind of help me decide whether I've got the fast flight or not. Like I look at the timer when the brown block appears on screen, and it can help you indicate. So little things like that will be how they tell how fast they're going, as well as the movement of the background.
All right, Ben having a little cleaner of a drive room there, not getting the multi-pipe. Good switches over to the P switch. I've seen a lot of people have that red shell come back and hit them, which just always stinks when it happens.
Yeah, Stu had a bit of a risky ending, actually. I thought he was very close to going into that fish and losing his cape. That can be really costly if you're pushing it to try and get the 252. But in the end, he dropped the P-switch, so he had a slow swim to the goal tape. So he only got a 250 as well as Ben.
Now this level's easy peasy. Fly yourself to the end of the room. Fly yourself up. Get out.
Ben having a little bit of trouble with the second door. Doors are the final boss in Super Mario World.
Final boss for sure. Worst enemies in the game. Alright, Stu is going to be moving on to his first of two flyover levels before we get into Morton's Castle. That's where we really saw the standings change last time, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again.
Again, we see Stu go under the clouds and Ben go just above the clouds. I used to fly way up, even over the grey block, and right up to above the top of the screen on this level. And then, then I decided to be a bit more ambitious.
Alright, now these runners are going to be going into Morton's Castle. And this is where we saw a difference happen last time. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. They have another level first. And then they'll be going into Morton's Castle.
Yeah, I meant to mention last time, but it's interesting because in this level, Ben is the one flying slightly lower than Stu. It's like he's almost low enough to go for the Yoshi grab, like you would in an All Castles run. But of course, you don't need the Yoshi in No Star World.
Okay, they're done with their flyovers. I'm awake again. Now they're heading into Morton's Castle. This is where we saw the standings really branch out. Ben not going for the spring in the vertical fly room in Morton. Said he was missing it in practice a lot, decided not to go for it, so I don't know if we'll see it from him this time as well.
We saw both runners having a little bit of trouble at the top of the first room, which is super interesting. It's not a common place for people to bonk and lose a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, we see Stu have no problems with the spring grab and still gets a 363 red door. And Ben playing it safer without the spring. And he's going to get a 353 door. So he's lost 10 in-game seconds in this level.
Yep, and that's going to help solidify the lead that Stu had against Ben going into this castle. There shouldn't be too much standing changes in the next upcoming levels unless something bad really happens. So Ben's gonna really hope to just chip away at little in-game seconds for these next few levels. Try to put a dent in Stu's lead.
Yeah, it's still pretty close. Like, it might seem that Ben is maybe doing the wrong strategy because he's a little bit behind. But then again, not having any major mistakes is what won him the last race. So, we saw exactly why his slightly conservative strategies worked in the last race. So it's hard to argue that he's doing the wrong thing.
All right, Stu having a good old time getting up there, getting his key. Ben struggling a little bit. He had a little hiccup on that corner there. Platform wasn't where he wanted it to be. But he still got through. He is out. Okay, and another great job from Stu. He is really showing how this run is done.
Ben almost lost his P-speed there, but he knew exactly how to save it. If you walk off the platform, you have to run. You have to spend a little bit of time running on the lower platform to make sure you get your P-speed. So it's something he knew how to do, and he knew how to react and still get his P-speed to fly up for the next section. Otherwise, he would have had to climb a few vines to get up there, and that would have been slow.
Yeah, it's hard to notice like how great of a save that was on Ben's part from a casual perspective, but there was very little chance of him getting that P-speed back. So good on him.
Yeah, if you walk off the platform and you try to take off like after a few frames like you normally would, you just won't have any P-speed. So you have to spend more time running, and Ben knew that, and that's what saved him a lot of time, just knowing that.
Alright, and Stu is in his second of 2 flyover levels before making his way to the fortress.
Yeah, at the moment, Stu is keeping it pretty solid, and he's doing his best to make sure that there is a game 3.
He's
So we
having
could
a great
have-
run.
Yeah.
So Stu will be the first going into the fortress. We didn't see any problems last time from either runners. Hopefully we'll see the same again. Stu got that Thwomp despawn last time.
Yeah, this fort used to give me an awful lot of trouble because it can be so easy to just hit some of these enemies and take some damage. Whereas otherwise it's just a very boring swim through.
Yeah, it seems
One trick you do...
the fish at the end of both rooms seems to be an enemy that I see lots of runners hit. The one Stu's going under. The Thwomp is still there for Stu. He did not get the Thwomp despawn like last time. Very minimal time loss. Negligible, I would say.
Yeah, even if you spin the cape on exactly the right pixel, it's still kind of a 50-50 whether the swamp will actually despawn.
Yep.
We saw Ben attempt it as well, but I think he spun the cape quite a bit too late. I think he needs to spin it a little bit earlier to get the Thwomp boss.
Oh man, I've got this nervous excitement flooding through me. What could that be?
I don't know. Something's coming up. Something really exciting is about to happen.
Oh my god, it's Butterbridge 1! Everyone get your Pog champs out in chat for Butterbridge 1.
This is the level we've all been waiting for. You know, the whole run has been built up to this moment. This is it right here, guys.
They are making history right now going through this level. Oh my goodness gracious.
Look at the tiny little hops, the measured platforming, bouncing on the Koopas. This level has it all.
It's
this
amazing.
Is a true platform level.
We're seeing the same strats from both runners. They are jumping up and down on the platforms and Koopas. You couldn't write this if you tried. This is as real as it gets. Whoa, whoa, sketchy platform jumps from Stu. He's making it on there cleanly, keeping this exciting for the viewers. Look at Ben just standing on that platform, looking threatening.
Yeah, the Bull Runner's skillfully getting past the 8 flying Koopas. One of the trickiest parts in the whole run.
Where'd Stu go? I don't see him on screen. This is insane. Oh, there he is.
He's hiding. He's hiding. No, there he is.
Stu the magician, about to take off for flight.
Question in chat, has anyone died on this level during a race and it cost them? Yes,
so
several times in this one tournament.
An embarrassing amount.
Including this numpty of a commentator right here. I've done it twice in this tournament. I did it against Silver Star. In my round of 8 match, I did it against Silver Star, and I also did it in one of the qualifier races. So I can hold up my hand to say I've done it twice in this bloody tournament.
Goodness. Well, there's something to be said for never learning from mistakes, right?
This is the hardest level, you know. It's so scary. It is certainly one of the most punishing levels to die on.
All right, now we've just got another flyover level. We can get our heart rates down. The excitement is over.
This is time for a short breather. This is just a flyover now. We're okay. We're good with this one.
Alright, and Stu will be the first making his way into Ludwig's castle. We saw some sticky situations with Stu last time in Room 1. Alright, and good cape tech from Stu there, doing the ground pounds, cape canceling through the ball and chains. He's going to stick with cape in this room too. This is a strat that I prefer. It's really cool. Flying just under those potaboos. Not getting hit. Not falling in the sketty sauce. I believe Ben switches over to flower, so you'll get to see the 2 strats one after another. Ben has switched over to flower, running through the room as opposed to flying like Stu did. Blazing speeds. Throwing out those fireballs. They're going to use this fireball you see on Stu's side for Ludwig. Just 2 fireballs and a jump, and they are out.
Yeah, 2 very good Ludwig's castles here, using the different strategies.
Alright, and a good kill from Ben as well means both of these runners are going to be moving into a new hood called Forest of Illusion. This one was real rough with Stu last time. Let's hope it treats him a little better.
Yeah, and we're going to find out whether he's going to attempt wings in Forest 1 as well, so that should be interesting.
Yes, now last time Stu wasn't comfortable with his jump. He said something killed his speed, and so he wasn't able to make that secondary jump. Really put him in a bad spot for Forest of Illusion 1 for a trick that really is minimal time save. So let's see if he goes for it again.
Yeah, well, it's
I hope
7 full seconds. I think he will.
I hope he does. So he's got his Yoshi. Great Yoshi grab. I always love to see people ground pound after grabbing the Yoshi there. Gets those Goombas out of the way. He has the shell in his mouth. Okay, looks like he's going for it again. He's going over maybe.
No, debated. We got debated. He didn't go for it.
He trolled me.
I was just about to say, Stu, proving me right. And then he goes and skips it.
He got me. He got me.
Maybe it's the race situation. Maybe he sees that he's ahead. We don't know if he's watching the stream.
Yeah,
We know Ben is watching the stream and listening in.
That's smart play though from Stu, to be honest. Let's see if this Yoshi clip treats him good though. Last time he had real issues with it, even though he should have gotten that first clip. Oh, he didn't pull to the left soon enough. He wasn't gonna mount that Yoshi.
Got a really nice lefty though. That's such a good backup. And
Great
he's
left
lost
clip.
minimal time. That's very good. That's pretty clutch.
I love seeing left clips like that.
Ben gets in first time. He was a little bit unsure whether he was in there in the corner correctly, but yeah, he's in. So will gain a little bit of time on Stu.
Yep. He hung out in that corner for a little bit, but he did get first attempt, so he's gonna eat into a little bit of Stu's lead here, as I'm sure we'll see the in-level timer. $2.32 for Stu.
I love how that rhymed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what number rhymes with Ben, and I'm stuck here.
2:38 for our mate.
My man.
6 in-game seconds. That's going to be around 4, maybe 4.5 real-life seconds.
Mhm.
Ben would have gained on that level.
Yeah, depending on where they were within that in-game second, that's about right.
Forest 3 is not too much going on. Just going to fly over the level, try and get a good flight speed. The only trick is to get into this pipe in a nice, tidy manner without flying over it. And then hopefully spin exactly one yellow block and not spin all 5 of them.
That sentence had like a tinge of regret to it.
I have never spun all 5 blocks. I don't know what you mean. That has never happened. That was a very spooky flight from Stu, actually. I thought he had to delay a lot before that dive, but he saved it. That was really impressive.
He really did. That was a great save on his part.
Ben's looked much tidier, but he's actually landed on the next platform, so he's going to have to run back and get flight speed again.
All right, Stu is out of there. That'll be the last time you see the flower used on one of these bosses. So he's free to switch to a cape whenever he wants.
Ben not having the cleanest Roy, but still a safe Roy. He was never really in any danger of dying, so that's the important thing. And he's just right behind Stu. This is still a really close race.
Yep, we still have a lot of race left. These guys are keeping it close for us.
So we're moving on to the delicious but dangerous Chocolate Island now. We're going to see Stu attempt pipe fly here. What he's going to do is he's going to spin fly, land on the ground just up ahead and try and get into the pipe with some of his P meter still active. And if he does it correctly, when he comes out of the pipe, he will still have flight. And as long as he doesn't touch the right button, he will maintain 64 flight speed as opposed to the usual 47 to 51 flight speed. So you don't save that much time because you have the pipe transition, but it does save about 1 second over the strat that you see Ben doing.
Yeah, and we saw Ben last time go for an extra cape here at the end of the level using the spring. I'll be interested to see if he goes for another backup. Looks like he's going for it. Getting that early backup cape, you never know, especially when going into the chocolate ghost house.
Yeah, we see some question about the format of the race. This is beat the game, don't use Star World, don't use major glitches like Credit Warp. That's about it.
Essentially, it's a warp list. They're not going to use any major glitches. We'll see what we consider minor glitches, which were things like block dupes and Yoshi clips. But nothing too crazy. To suggest that those strats aren't crazy enough as it is.
Ben dropping down a little bit early in the first room, but safely makes his way through. And he's out of the spooky ghost house as well.
Yep, now this next level that they're both going in, it's easy peasy. Just make your way to the end. Shouldn't be too many issues.
There is a little bit of time to be saved in each of these rooms. Like we saw Stu get a 291 pipe, and you have to have pretty accurate movement in that first room to get that time on the clock in the pipe. If you have fast flight in room 2, I think you can get a 278, whereas Stu just got a 277. And at the end, you can see Stu get a 269. So I think you can do a little bit better in theory, and probably save a few frames on that. So we see Ben, for example, getting into the pipe with just a 276. So just a few little frames, a few little details. But that's probably not going to decide this race. It's the scarier levels like this, like Chocolate Secret.
Yeah, Stu's really having a great run so far. It's really exciting watching these guys play, especially against each other. This tournament's really brought out the top tier runners.
Yeah, she was determined to give us a very exciting third race. And Ben has done very little wrong all race as well.
He's staying hot on Stu's heels. We got some scary levels coming up soon.
Yeah, this third room is normally just a flyover. However, when you get above the level and you're above those chucks, sometimes it won't make the sound when you tap left, so it can throw you off. And if you're not careful, you can fall down lower than you intend to. And if you clip into any of those yellow platforms that start sinking and you lose your flight, you can easily die. It happens to lots of people in some runs. It can be trickier than it looks.
We've seen it happen time and time again. Stu making his way into Wendy's castle, the best castle. Both runners having a little bit of issues in room 2. So they're going to be looking for a little better this time. Stu just really finessing that first room, showing off that great cape tech. Beautiful. Making his way into room 2. He's going to be looking to keep his flight through this whole thing this time. He doesn't want to give Ben any sort of edge.
Yeah, but that was a fantastic Wendy's Castle from Stu. Gets a 254 red door.
Yeah, Stu is really having a great run, showing how this should be done. Ben still hot on his heels, just right behind him, going into the Wendy fight himself.
Ben having a very good room too. Played it a little bit safe at the end. Ended up going for the spin fly strat in the second half of the second room, which is interesting. I don't think I've seen him do that one before. Maybe he's been working on it.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's saying he hit the wrong button. that could happen.
That makes
so in that case, he done really well to not instantly die, because if you go off script to these levels that are so solid in your muscle memory, it can be very easy to just fly straight into those sparks or into the pit. So Ben did really well to not die on that level. If he did the strat, he's not used to.
Yeah, once again, that's what we were saying about these races that I love, is when you get put in a sticky situation, how well can you get out? What are your skills then? Thinking on your toes. So Stu going for that backup cape. We saw that damage boost from him last race. I'm sure he'll be going for it again with a single boo despawn. I'll let Shady explain the despawn. I think he has a great explanation for it.
Yeah, so the basic idea in this level is that the boo rings can't spawn while the boo cloud that you can see right now are still on screen. So if you get to the right horizontal position in this level at just the right time in the boo cloud cycle, it causes one or both of the boo rings to not spawn. So what Stu's done here is he's got the first boo ring to not spawn, and he can swim right through it. And because he's got his backup cape, he can damage through the second boo ring, and that's basically the fastest way through this level. It is possible to despawn both boo rings. I'm not sure how exactly. Yeah, just have to get the timing exactly right for it. So most people go for the one despawn and then the damage boost. It's the easiest and safest.
Yeah, it's a really well-timed scroll, super late in the room. That's how you get that second one. I see it from very few runners so far in the tournament. Stu grabbing his orb. He'll be moving on to the Valley of Bowser, the final world of this race. He needs to secure this win against Ben to take it to the race 3. Ben is right behind him, though, getting his orb. Stu's making his way through the Monty Moles. And as always, these hitboxes don't play nice with the cape a lot of the time. It's scary seeing runners go for that bottom strat. We see it hurt a lot of people. Stu's showing off how it's done once again, though. Fantastic race from him.
These moles can be scary, and there's certain parts on the level where you want to make sure you're either flying high enough or you slow down a little bit to not be at full P-speed to avoid getting frame ruled and the moles can take away your cape. It's certainly a lot safer when you have a Yoshi in this level in like an all castles run or a 96 exit, but in No Star World where you don't have a Yoshi, it's a scary level.
Yep. Earlier in the tournament, during previous rounds, we saw lots of runners, I say lots, a few runners go for safety Yoshis. You could tell who was definitely more comfortable with an all castle style run as opposed to No Star World. A nice bounce up from Stu, getting above the wall.
Now the question is, are we going to see Stu, who is ahead leading the race, do sandbar? It looks like he's not. Is he? No, he didn't. I think he didn't line up for sandbar. I don't think he went for it. Is Ben going to go for it to try and catch up in this race?
Oh man, this is such a tense situation right now.
This is decisions. He's thinking about it. Has he decided? Is he going for it?
He's got to decide quick.
I don't think he went for it. I'm not 100% sure. He might have.
Okay, so that's going to maintain Stu's slight lead over Ben. They are running out of levels, though. Ben needs something to happen.
This one is most definitely not over yet.
No, not even close.
The hardest level in this entire run is coming up next.
Yep.
Vanilla Fortress has crushed many runners' dreams in this tournament and will continue to do so in this tournament.
Didn't we see Stu lose a cape in that level last time?
Yeah, lose a cape and he almost died as well. When you don't have your cape and you don't have a power-up, the Reznor fight is also extremely scary.
Yep, this level right here kills the most runners, takes the most capes, does the most damage. Like, I would love to go back to all the runs and see how many people have died in this level as compared to every rest of the level combined. At least in this tournament, it's done some people dirty. Stu's having a great go at it, though.
Oh, that was fantastic. Ford gets to 255. Oh, he bonks a little bit in the Reznor fight. He's losing a little bit of time here. This is scary.
Reznors are machine gunning him.
Oh, that fireball almost wrecked him. And he landed right on the edge of that platform.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Stu giving us a heart attack.
Yep, them Reznors tried to fight dirty, but Stu come out clean. Ben's going into the fight right now. They will both be in the Bowser fight shortly. This is coming down to the Bowser fight.
Ben not having the cleanest Reznor fight, but it was much closer to the perfect fight than Stu's was. So Ben will have gained a little bit of time, but he still needs some mistakes in the Bowser fight from Stu if Ben wants to take this 2-0.
All right, Stu is first into the Bowser fight. He needs a much cleaner Bowser fight than last time if he wants to keep this lead.
Stu is in the lead by about 1 ball skip.
Yep, he does have his cape this time, which is nice. He didn't have cape last time. It caused a lot of issues. Alright, Stu is through his phase 1. He's got his extra Mecha Koopa to set up for ball skip. He needs this to go right. Ben is right behind him, getting his first hit in, about to exit phase 1.
Ben
So
has this really spooky strat for hit 2 that
he
nobody
really
else does.
He really does. I was thinking
I
that
don't
last
see
race.
anyone else do it. You normally kill that
scary.
Koopa and then fly up and hit one of the 2 Koopas and keep the other one. But he keeps the Mecha Koopa alive, and he flies up with it and then throws it away just as he hits the other. It's the spookiest thing ever.
All right, we got a great ball skip from Stu. He's got his 4th hit in. He's entering the 3rd and final phase. Ben taking a hit, about to go for ball skip. He's lost his cape.
That's going to lose a few seconds, but it doesn't really change much. At this stage, we pretty much need a Stu dead. Ben still got his ball scape, so he's losing just a second or 2 from not having cape now.
All right, Stu going for his 6th and final hit. Get your GGs out. That is exactly the run Stu was looking for, getting that 33-39 phenomenal run.
That's a great time. That's a few seconds ahead of Ben's PB.
Ben missed his 5th hit. He's going to need to use both Mecha Koopas here coming up. Wow, what a run from Stu. Ben getting his 5th, going for his 6th hit. Get your GGs out for him as well. Great runs on both of their parts. Once again, Stu's PB is like a 33-28 on the leaderboards right now. He was 11 seconds off his PB with that run. Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's great pace. Even Ben's 34.09 would win a lot of races. That's a really good time as well.
These boys showed up today.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a great race, and we're going to have one more because these guys are going to have to go for a game 3.
Yep, as predicted, these guys are taking it to the 3rd race. They've been putting on amazing runs for you guys. I'm excited to see how this goes. Once again, this is a round 3 race or matchup. This is a best of 3. Each runner has 1 win right now. They need 1 more to continue on to round 4. And the winner of this is going to go on to face the winner of our upcoming race, Retro Bob versus Louie. So both of our races today are completely stacked. They're going to be great. I'm so excited Ben and Stu are going to race 3. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I believe what's going to happen now is I think we're going to get Bob and Louie in to do their first race at the same time as Ben and Stu do their 3rd race.
Oh my God, it's going to be so hard to handle that much excitement. Could you imagine 4 Butterbridge ones at once on your screen?
I mean, we're going to need 2 more commentators to talk about all the excitement that's going on. We're going to need 4 of us, 1 for each player.
1 for each Butterbridge.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the next Butterbridge one coming up.
All that auto-scroller action. Just can't get enough of it. That's why they made Super Mario Bros. 3 with so many auto-scrollers, because it's the most exciting thing ever.
Yep, that's where they really, tested it out, but they perfected it in Super Mario World, as they perfected everything. It'll be exciting to see any strat changes coming up in race 3 for these guys. How safe is Stu going to try to play it to manage his run, and how insane is Ben going to have to try to play it to get this win? I want to see where their needle lands on their gauges after this one. We saw Stu not go for wings attempt in FOI 1 for the 2nd race. Smart decision, especially considering what happened to him in the 1st race. So I think that was a smart move that hopefully we'll see again in the 3rd race. Ben's been playing it somewhat safe through these races, getting about 34 minutes on both runs. So, I mean, he knows how to race this. He's doing a great job.
You say he knows how to race this, but we do see him attempt Vanilla Dome 1 wings here. So unless he's planning on doing an all castles run in race 3, you're practicing the wrong thing, dude.
Oh no, I think he's practicing the very right thing.
I would love to see them both just do an all castles run for Reign 3.
Yeah, I mean that's no Star World, right?
I offered it to Silver Star, but he didn't take me up on it. Probably because he was the world record holder at this by the time we did our race, so I don't blame him.
Yeah, I wonder why he wouldn't want to waste his time with that. That's
Not that he wouldn't have destroyed me in all castles even more than a no Star World run.
Yeah, and it looks like these guys will be setting up. We might get the other two racers in here as well.
Yeah, stand by. The next race will be happening very soon. We're just waiting to see what's happening, whether it's going to be 2 runners or 4 runners. But this will be happening pretty soon.
All right, and it looks like we're also going to be bringing in our next race. So we're going to have 2 races going on at once. So I'll make sure to keep mentioning this. Ben versus Stu is going to be going into race 3. We're going to be bringing in our next racers for their matchup. It's going to be Retro Bob versus Louie. This is a matchup everyone's been excited to watch, so it's going to be hard to know which to pay attention to. These guys are also going to be going for a best of 3. They will be going into race 1. And the winner of these 2 matchups will face each other in round 4. So this will be exciting. We get to see a future matchup depending on the outcomes of these races right here. Okay. This next matchup is going to be pretty exciting. Retro Bob was our last year's tournament winner for No Star World, and Louie this time is our current #1 seed. Both of them insanely consistent runners, both really good at what they do. So having all 4 at once is going to be great.
Yeah, I honestly don't know who I would call a favorite in that race either.
We have 2 coin flips.
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me if it was largely 50-50 in the predictions bracket for who's going to win either of these races. So we can see our field has expanded, and now we still have Ben in the top left and Stu in the top right, and I think we're going to be bringing in Louie and Bob in the bottom race.
Yep, so we'll have our first matchup up top. It'll be left versus right, and on the bottom is left versus right. So these guys will not be racing independently versus each other. These are 2 1v1s going on. God, Ben and Stu, the pressure is on for these guys. They need this to go right. This is a single elimination bracket, so the winner of this will move on to face the winner of Retro Bob versus Louie. The loser, unfortunately, will be eliminated. All right, we see Louie practicing sandbar, which is a pretty smart thing to do before a race.
And you can see just how tricky it is as well.
It's so insane. And like these runners are probably going to have to rely on it to get the win. There would be no surprise if that were the case.
Yeah, getting sandbar and getting the cycle skip after it saves 12 seconds. And that at this level, that's a huge amount. That's more than the difference between Louis and Bob's PB, I think. Let me double check that.
I think their PBs are literally like a second or 2 from each other. Yeah, Louis is, oh my god, they are less than a second away from each other.
Okay, yeah.
So their PB, Retro Bob is in 5th place with a 32.56. in almost 400 milliseconds. Louis is right behind him with 900 milliseconds on his time. So they have a difference of about half a second on their PBs.
So they have a difference of one final boss.
I mean, yeah, they have the difference between whether one of them missed a door or not. Like, that's how tight these guys are.
One Bowser insta-hit versus slightly slower hit in a cape kill. That's the difference between them.
It's absurd to think about. And I believe we've seen closer races in this tournament already, have we not? Fitz versus Dots. That one was so close, it was erroneously reported at first the winner. Fitz is actually going to be the one moving on to the next round.
Yeah, I don't know what the result of the final retime, but it was something in the range of like 15 frames, 12 frames, something like that.
Absolutely absurd. So yeah, Fitz will be moving on in that round to face the winner of Maiba versus Stiv. God, all these races are so stacked.
Everyone's so good. I mean,
Why is everyone so good?
Why are there too many good Mario runners? What's going on here?
Yeah, this tournament really brought everyone out of the woodwork, man. It's awesome seeing all these guys come out and show off their skills. All right, we see Retro Bob practicing the cool stuff. Let's see if he goes for an orb here.
So someone's asking in chat about how you get the ladder up to the platforms in Bowser's Valley, the Valley of Bowser. I think the answer to your question is that those guys are playing on the practice card. Louis on the practice card right now, which is a ROM hack made by Dots Are Cool, another participant in this tournament. And it's what they use to practice some of the levels, and they can retry levels, and they can do save states, and they can get around the world faster. So you can see all the extra information on Louis' screen to show the level times and things like that. So that's what's going on there. That's what Louis is practicing on, but he's going to switch to his normal cart once he starts the race.
Yeah, that practice cart, I mean, you guys, if you're on the fence or thinking about getting into speedrunning, this game is incredible. And the community like puts forth so many resources to make it just more pliable for you. That practice card is the most valuable resource, I've got to say.
Yeah, I feel quite lucky that the two main games I play, Link to the Past, which we also see a lot here on Speed Gaming, and Super Mario World, they both have excellent practice cards, and it makes the games really accessible in terms of practicing and running.
Yeah, I was too busy talking about the practice cart to show off what Bob was just pulling off. He got himself an awesome orb glitch and a fire dupe, which was nuts.
I was really fascinated to see. I was fascinated to see whether he would finish the orb animation or fall off the edge and die.
You're
whether
right.
he had enough platform to successfully beat the level with his orb.
I was surprised to see that orb actually have its correct sprite in Yoshi's Island 3. I'm used to seeing that crushed Mecha Koopa looking sprite when it falls out of the item box.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder what the idea behind that is. I know that depending on the location on screen and depending on the level you're in, sprites can just not show correctly because of
it's
be used.
it's the sprite availability in levels.